Happy Tuesday, everyone. I'm actually making this video Monday night before the Eagles face off with the Green Bay Packers on Monday Night Football at Lambeau Field. I am repping my Devontae Smith, Kelly Green Eagles jersey. So hopefully the Eagles won last night on Monday, and we are all happy right now as potentially if you're Eagles fans, since you're Phillies fans, or maybe you're not Phillies fan, you just like to tune in here and see what's going around in MLB baseball. But still, go Birds. Hopefully they got that big NFC win against the Packers, maybe some playoff implications down the line. Definitely playoff implications down the line actually in the NFC. But we're here to talk about the Philadelphia Phillies. Welcome to Phillies Daily, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Kennelly. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. It's much appreciated. You guys always tuning in, showing up, commenting your thoughts, maybe disagreeing with me. I love that kind of stuff. That's what sports are all about. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you guys for continuing to tune in, and thank you for all the new people that are joining in along the road here. Now, not much big offseason news going around Major League Baseball yet. Free agency, we all know, started last week. Trades resumed, all that fun stuff. But really, none of the big name free agents, none of the big trades happen until around winter meetings time, which is early to mid-December. That's when all of the GMs, everybody, owners, everything get together. It's just the big time of the year, the big point of the offseason for Major League Baseball. Again, that's when most of the big free agents start to sign, or all the rumors start coming out about what teams are talking to, the contracts, what they're going to be worth, trades. So with that, we already know that the Phillies are going to be in on some big free agents, possibly some trades with their players that they have on the roster right now, or trying to acquire other players. And we saw, I believe it was last week, that MLB Network's John Morosi, MLB Insider, he linked the Phillies to two of the Los Angeles Angels outfielders, both corner outfielders, and that he said that the Angels they may not trade them, but they will be listening to trade offers on their outfielders, Jo Adell and Taylor Ward, this offseason. Again, listed the Phillies as potential trade partners with, as we all know, the Phillies having a weakness in the outfield. It did get better in those final 2 months or so of the regular season, but it was a weakness for most of the season until then, and a lot of uncertainty heading into 2026 with Nick Castellanos probably either traded or released this offseason. Max Kepler's a free agent. Harrison Bader's now a free agent. So a lot of uncertainty there with the Phillies in their outfield. They could go after some guys in free agency, some of the top guys like Kyle Tucker, Cody Bellinger, bring back Harrison Bader, or they could try to trade for potentially one of these two Angels outfielders. And looking back, the Phillies and the Angels actually do have some recent trade history. They acquired Carlos Estevez, the closer, if you remember, during the 2024 season at the trade deadline. Estevez went on to just be a rental and sign with the Kansas City Royals ahead of the 2025 season. He was one of the best closers in Major League Baseball this past season. Of course, that's how it works. They also acquired Noah Syndergaard, the starting pitcher, and Brandon Marsh, who's still on the team, our outfielder, in separate 2022 trades with the Angels as well. And then, again, 2024, there was a trade after the 2024 season, I should say. Scott Kingery, who was supposed to have this big, huge, bright future with the Phillies, but never worked out. He signed that contract before he even stepped foot on a major league field. Never worked out for Scott Kingery. They moved on from him after the 2024 season and traded him to the Angels for cash. So those were some of the recent trades between the Phillies and the Angels. Some big trades actually in there at that. And now they are linked to Jo Adell and Taylor Ward this offseason. They've been linked to them in the past as well, but it's officially been reported that the Angels will be listening to offers on those two outfielders. And first, that leads me into the more intriguing option of the two, and that's Jo Adell. Jo Adell is more intriguing just because of his age. He's younger. He was a former top prospect. He's a 26-year-old right-handed hitting outfielder. Now, he's best suited for a corner outfield spot. The Angels use him in center field. He's not really meant for that. He plays a lot better in the corner outfield. That's just what he's meant for, best suited for. So if he were to be traded to the Phillies, that's where he would best be used, in left field or right field. Again, just 26-year-old and a right-handed hitter. The Phillies obviously need a right-handed hitting power bat. They have a lineup full of lefties. They got Bryce Harper. They had Kyle Schwarber. He's a free agent. Who knows if he'll be back? They had a couple other guys in there as well. Lefties. Just got to get this right-handed power bat. And Jo Adell could give that to the Phillies if they were to trade for him this offseason. Again, former top prospect with the Angels. He finally broke out in the 2025 season for them. He hit 37 home runs, a career high, and 98 RBIs with the Angels in 2025. Now, he's not a guy that's going to hit for average. His career high for batting average is 246, and that was back in 2021 when he played just 35 games. So not a guy that's going to hit for average, but he's a guy that's going to give you some power. He's a big guy. He's also got 2 more years of club control, so he won't be a free agent until 2028. He'll be under contract 2026, 2027. So his price tag will be a little bit higher just because of his age. 26 years old, had a great power season this past year in 2025 with those 37 home runs, 98 RBIs, 2 more years of club control, former top prospect, all that put together. You're going to have to pay a nice price for him. So if the Phillies want to make a splash and they want to bet on a guy with a potential future and be here long term, then you make a trade for a guy like Jo Adell. But if not, then you can move on to a guy who's the more likelier trade option. I don't think the Angels would get rid of Adell just because of the potential he has. But Taylor Ward could be a very, very possible and very, very likely trade candidate this offseason. He's going to be 32 years old pretty soon. He's also a right-handed hitting outfielder, corner outfielder. So again, right-handed hitter. The Phillies are searching for a right-handed hitting power bat. Jo Adell would serve that. Taylor Ward would serve that as well. Mostly plays left field, Taylor Ward, but he has played third base in his career. He's played center field. He's played first base. He's even played catcher. Back in 2021, he caught 1 game for 2 innings with the Angels there. But he's very versatile. Again, mostly a left fielder, corner outfielder. Career year in 2025 this past year for Taylor Ward with the Los Angeles Angels. Now also not a high batting average for him, but he hit 228 with a 317 on base percentage, 475 slug, 792 OPS, 31 doubles, 2 triples, 36 home runs for Taylor Ward, and 103 RBIs in 157 games with the Angels this past year in 2025. He has 98 home runs across his previous 4 seasons, so the power is there recently for Taylor Ward as he's aged. That averages out to be about obviously 25 home runs per year. 100 would be 25 home runs per year on those 4 years. But 98 home runs across the last 4 years, 36 home runs in 2025 for Taylor Ward. He's the likelier trade candidate, again, just because he's going to be 32 years old compared to Jo Adell's 26 years old. Taylor Ward's going to be a free agent after the 2026 season, whereas Jo Adell has 2 more years of club control. So Taylor Ward's older, not as much club control, obviously being the free agent, and just a likelier trade option. But still, 36 home runs, 103 RBIs last year on a not great Angels team. He would definitely benefit from playing on a much better Phillies team, much better Phillies lineup, and a much more hitter-friendly Citizens Bank Park. So those are 2 options for the Phillies if they want to make some changes in the outfield. We all know the uncertainty, as I talked about earlier in this video and throughout a bunch of my videos as well. You can check out here on Phillies Daily. So the Phillies need to make some changes to the outfield, and the Angels have 2 outfielders that they can look into. And a name to watch if you are the Phillies, and possibly instead of trading prospects, you could look to trade a major league talent like Alec Bohm, who's been in trade rumors last offseason throughout the trade deadline going up to this season, and he's in trade rumors again this offseason. He's going to be a free agent as well coming up, not this year, but coming up soon. So he could be a guy that you move to try to acquire a guy like Jo Adell or Taylor Ward, major league ready, major league caliber, major league outfielders. So keep an eye on that, on Alec Bohm on the Angels, Taylor Ward, Jo Adell, something to follow as these months progress in the offseason as we get closer to the winter meetings. Again, and trade probably won't happen until around those winter meetings time in December, but still something to talk about, something to keep an eye on, something to keep us looking forward to and possibly excited about. Now, while we're on the topic of the Phillies outfield, another guy that we all know, we've all seen him play plenty of times here for the Phillies over the years, Johan Rojas. Now, Johan Rojas, we all kind of wanted him to be the next big thing for the Phillies. He's got the speed, he's got the defense, he's got some potential offensively. It just hasn't been able to put it together at the major league level. But Johan Rojas, he's currently dominating, and I mean dominating, in the Dominican Winter League right now. He is batting .361 with a .489 on-base percentage, .556 slugging, 1.044 OPS, 1 double, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, and 5 stolen bases in 12 Dominican Winter League games so far. Now, we all know he started the season at the major league level with the Phillies in 2025, ended up playing in AAA for the remainder of the season. He was solid in AAA with the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, but nothing special for Johan Rojas. He batted .279 there in AAA in 2025 with 7 doubles, 1 triple, 1 home run, 13 RBIs, and 8 stolen bases in 35 games with the Iron Pigs. He was only in the beginning and most, I should say, I guess, of the Phillies season when he was up with the Major League team with the Phillies. He batted just .224 in 71 games with the Phillies in 2025. Didn't have a lot of playing time, hard to get in a groove, but still, the offense just wasn't there for Johan Rojas. Now, that brings me to the question, was Johan Rojas rushed to the major leagues by the Phillies? If you remember, back before he made his Major League debut in 2023 with the Phillies, he had never played a game above AA with the Reading Fighting Phils in the Phillies organization, but he made the jump from AA to the Major League level, skipping AAA in the Phillies farm system back in 2023. He was just 22 years old at the time, still a very young guy. He did play pretty well, all things considered, there when he got that promotion to the Major Leagues in 2023. He hit .302 in 59 games with the Phillies after he was promoted and made his Major League debut. But then in 2024, he obviously was with the team to start the year at the Major League level. Not a great showing by Johan Rojas. Wasn't able to take that next step. Wasn't able to develop his game. He batted just .243 with a .279 on base percentage, way too low. .322 slugging, .601 OPS, 18 extra base hits, 32 RBIs in 120 games with the Phillies in 2024. Just no power for Johan Rojas. Wasn't getting on base enough for a guy that should be using his speed to get on base, get base hits, steal bases, maybe even bunt. He's struggled with that as well, trying to bunt for base hits or any of that kind of stuff. But as we all know, he has elite speed. He's got the potential for elite defense as well. He just turned 25 years old back in August, so he's still a young guy. He's still got potential. He just has to put the offensive all together, his offensive game, and he's showing that so far in the Dominican Winter League. Obviously, he's not facing the same pitching as you would see at the Major League level. He's not facing the same talent, so you kind of got to take that with a grain of salt. But he's looking really good through 12 games in the Dominican Winter League, and hopefully still at a young age with some elite potential with that speed, that defense. He can turn into something good. The Phillies may not have him on their radar going into 2026, but he's an option there for an uncertain outfield heading into the new season if they are unable to make some significant changes and additions to that position out there at the Major League level. So keep an eye on Johan Rojas as well throughout the offseason and into spring training. And maybe, just maybe, he could be a big piece to this Phillies team, an underrated piece to this Phillies team in 2026. Hope you guys enjoy this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Kennelly. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. You guys are much appreciated. Again, I made this video on Monday. You guys are seeing this video on Tuesday. So hopefully we are talking about an Eagles win, or not talking about, but hopefully we had an Eagles win Monday night over the Packers. And as always, go Phils.